Hey everybody, Ian Campbell here with Mission Suite. I hope you're having a great Tuesday. Today I thought that I would talk a little bit about CRM setup, and so some of the things that you need to kind of talk about and discuss with CRM setup. Unfortunately, I'm still sans phone, so I am rocking on my iPad here. So as I'm looking down, it's kind of starting to look a little interesting, and I'm hoping to get my phone tomorrow, knock on wood. But then again, that means that I have to actually file the insurance claim, and I haven't quite had time to do that yet. But either way, I'm on my iPad, I'm going live, I'm still doing my thing, and so we're going to be rocking and rolling here. So it's been a crazy busy day. I've set up a couple accounts today, a couple new accounts, done some training today, and gotten some questions answered and whatnot. And one of the things that, as I was going through a couple of these account setups, some of the things that I recognized is that when you have a bunch of people working in to build out a CRM system and to build out their preferences in a CRM, you're going to have differing opinions. You're going to have different people wanting different things. And I mean, it's the nature of the beast, right? I mean, if you've got three different people, you've got three different wants and needs and things to consider. So, and this, of course, always goes down, right? So I figured what I would do is kind of do a quick video and talk a little bit about some of the very basic thing that you need to remember whenever you're building out a CRM, and that's if you can't continue to edit it further after the initial setup has been done. First of all, if you have to set it up yourself, then can be problematic, right? Because if you don't have anybody there to guide you, I mean, I go through these things probably at least once or twice a week. I work with, I bring on new clients, and I'm in the process of dealing with the account setups and going through training and different things like that. So I mean, I go through this a lot, right? So I have a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge from a lot of different clients that I can bring to the table, right? And that's, I mean, we've got about 75 active clients right now, which is awesome. But on top of that, I've got a bunch of clients that have not worked out, right? I've got clients that have started and we've gone through some setup and gone through some things, and then they've called me and said, you know what, Ian, this isn't working for me, and I've learned why, right? So if you don't have somebody to assist you with that setup, it shouldn't have to cost you extra, right? I mean, you shouldn't have to pay somebody else outside of it, right? Of course, we've got our setup fees and whatnot. I mean, they're small, but I mean, they're there. But you shouldn't have to necessarily bring somebody else in. If you want to, of course, there can be a lot of value to that. But you should realistically have somebody that can help you answer the questions that you need to answer without necessarily along the way. Right? Because again, if you have to do this all on your own, then chances are you're going to end up in a position where you're not doing it the way that you want to ultimately, the way that you ultimately want to see it, right? So, and of course, the benefit of doing it on your own is that you can figure out how to go in and fix it later. But realistically, do you want to fix it later, or do you want to have it set up from the get-go correctly? Right? For me, I'd rather save the time, save the hassle, save the headache, and get it done right the first time. So that's kind of the first thing that I realized, going through some of these account setups, today, and actually a couple of them for the past couple of days too, is that, there's a lot of I don't knows when we start talking about these things, right? And so, what custom fields do you want? Well, I don't know. What should I be using, right? What kind of groups do you want? I don't know. What sort of insights do you have? So there's a lot of those things. And like I said, if you have three different people working inside of this, then you've got, or more sometimes, then you're going to have a number of different opinions, and that's okay. That's good, right? And so it may feel like a hassle, at the time, and I understand that, but it's a really good thing. And again, if you have somebody guiding you through the process, then you're able to make sure that it's getting done the right way. Now, all of that said, right? Again, we try to go out of our way to make sure that everything is set up correctly from the get-go. But if you need to change things down the line, right, you should always be able to do that. You should always be able to go back in and change something that was set up for you, either with training or assistance or on your own, right? You should always be able to do that, and it shouldn't be a pain to do so. Again, it's not something that should have to cost you extra. If you want to bring somebody in from the outside, that's fine. There's a lot of value there. but it's not something that should have to cost you extra. So if you're looking at a CRM system and then someone tells you, oh yeah, we're going to get you all set up, and then if you want to change anything down, and then you find out if you want to change anything down the line that is going to cost you, $250 an hour or $150 an hour or even $50 an hour, just for a basic change that you should be able to do on your own, then bail, right? Get out of it, because you're going to cost yourself a ton of money. You're going to cost yourself a ton of headache. One of the things that I like to tell people is that, listen, no matter what we're doing during that setup stage, there's nothing that I'm doing that you can't do yourself. Right, and that's an important thing to remember. Is that I can do, sure, I know how to do this quickly and easily, and it takes a lot of the hassle out of setup and early onboarding and early adoption, which is why we go through that setup phase with new clients, and why that's actually something that we require is at least a basic setup. Because I want you on the system, training on the system inside of a few days, not necessarily having to figure out how to make this thing work and then call me, ask for training, and get all frustrated before you're able to actually make use of it, right? So it's an important thing an important thing to remember. So number one, always make sure that you have somebody working with you. That you don't mean to be pointing at you. Always make sure to be to have somebody to be that can be working with you, right? Whether you're paying somebody else outside, or there's a setup process like we have or anything like that. Make sure that there's somebody that can be working with you to help guide you through this process. Number two, make sure that no matter what happens, no matter what they're doing, that you can get in later and do the same thing too. Right? They shouldn't be. You should not go into start working with a CRM system wherein you have to go and have the software development company go in and make changes every single time you want to make changes. You should be able to customize this yourself. Right? More often, you don't necessarily want to at the beginning, and again, that's one of the reasons that we do that. But you want to make sure that you have that capability. And then third, and of course, again, I've said this a number of times over, make sure that training and support is all free, right? I mean, don't pay for it. There are plenty of systems out there that say, oh, well, you get community support, which basically means that you get access to the forum. You get email support, which means that you get to submit a ticket and wait, 4 to 6 hours for somebody to get back to you. And then there's the live support and everything like that. And and I know that there are plenty of systems out there that tier their support, but I highly recommend against it. Right? There's a reason that all of our support, all of our training is all free, right? And it's all live, because again, if you need to be using this thing, if my goal for you is to actually make this system, whatever the system is, work well for your business and help you actually grow business, then you need to have access to me, right? There's no question, you need to have access to me. And so if you end up in this situation where 2 months down the line you need to figure out how to make a change, and all the software company will do for you is send you an email, then that doesn't really work out too well for you. And I know that from experience. So three things three lessons, I guess, that came out of some of my setups here over the course of the past couple of days. Number one, make sure that you have somebody that can help guide you through the process of setting up your account. Somebody that knows how to do this. Somebody that has a lot of experience and has ideas to bring to the table. Again, I've probably set up maybe 100 to 120 of these accounts, right, over the course of my lifetime. Over the course of between Mission Suite and then just the marketing consulting that I did before. I used to set up a lot of these things, and I've done it for a lot of different industries and a lot of different companies. So there's knowledge there that is valuable to you. Right? And so I'm not saying I'm not saying go with me, but I'm saying that find somebody that has experience that they can bring to the table in this specific world, right? Because it's a different realm than just about anything else. So number one, make sure you have somebody to guide you through the experience. Number two, make sure that anything that they do during the setup, you can do later on without having to go through a $250 an hour consultant. And then third and final, make sure that you're able to get training, make sure you're able to get support, and make sure that you're able to have a conversation with somebody, because as a lot of my clients will tell you, it is hugely beneficial, and it makes a huge impact on the way that you're actually able to make this thing work. So three lessons that have come out of some of the account setup conversations that I've had over the course of the past couple days here. I hope that you've all had a great Tuesday and are gonna get over the hump day really well tomorrow. And I will look forward to talking again on Thursday. All right, cheers.